With inflation reaching unbelievable numbers, we know the economic storm is coming, so we better prepare for its effect on the economy. Metals will shine bright, however, that will be after the financial hurricane is passed. Today, we need to prepare for the impact inflation and recession will have on us all. The economic facts and figures are just staggering and reveal a very challenging financial path ahead of us. Frankly, I don't find much value in spending whatever time you give this video showing you all the concerning data and stats only to freak you out more. Instead, let's spend our time focusing on how we can best prepare ourselves for the financial hurricane Jamie Dimon referenced some time back. Ironically, a hurricane is a great analogy, even though anyone who's been through a hurricane knows that they can be scary as you know what. For some reason, I've always found hurricanes and storm chasers incredibly fascinating. In particular, the storm chasers and the eye of the hurricane. Regardless of my fascination, what amazes me is that regardless of all the destruction and chaos that happens around the hurricane, every hurricane has this eye. And the eye is this place where the skies are clear above it and the winds are relatively light. Anyone who's experienced one of them will tell you the eye is actually the calmest part of the hurricane. The eye is so calm because the strong forces around the hurricane never actually converge towards the center and actually reach it. That's our focus for this video. How do we make sure we metaphorically position ourselves in such a way that we travel with the eye of this financial hurricane, ride out all of its danger and destruction, and emerge better once this financial hurricane dissipates? So let's talk about it. The study of hurricanes and how storms evolve in hurricanes is actually really interesting. In particular, the conditions that need to be present. Well, for our financial hurricane, it isn't all that different. Some of the conditions that have really created this financial hurricane are bad monetary policy, long-term, abnormally low interest rates, creating a country that is depending on so many other countries for our energy, for cheap goods, for foods, fiat currency, our government debt, asset bubbles like we're seeing in the stock and real estate market, individuals displaying bad financial management and things like consumer debt, et cetera, et cetera. All of these things have created this financial hurricane. So how do we get ourselves to safety? How do we get ourselves into the eye of this metaphorical financial hurricane? As a precious metals channel, you already know that one of my answers is going to be getting more precious metals. But that's only a small part of what needs to happen. And I've broken this down to kind of into three phases: before the hurricane, during, and after. In some ways, it actually isn't all that different from what you do in a real hurricane. Right now, though, I'm only going to focus on what we need to do to prepare for this financial hurricane that's coming. As you all know, I try to stay away from politics and religion on this channel, but there is a perfect Bible verse that fits this situation. And for those that are interested, I'm referencing the book of Matthew, chapter 12, verses 22 through 33, which ultimately has been shortened down to the phrase of focus on me, not the storm. And that's the message I want us to have right now, is focus on what you can control, not the storm. We're going to have a lot of things going on, but what you have to do is focus on what you can control and position you and your family and your loved ones to endure this situation. So here's how we're going to prepare. I've got 7 steps for you. First step is I want you to take inventory. Where are you financially? What does your financial balance sheet look like? Do you even have one? If not, you got to get one. And what's the minimum amount of money you would need to survive? And ask yourself, how secure is my job or my income? If you have a job, ask yourself, am I expendable or have I made myself indispensable? Can I change that quickly? If you had to find a job in a week, could you do that? And what would that look like? And how would that change your income? We gotta take inventory to see where you really are. And once you have that inventory, I want you to develop a plan B. That's the second step. Develop your own personal SHTF situation. What would you do? Remember, during high emotional situations, it becomes a lot harder for us to think clearer. So having a plan B already laid out gives you something to consider, and you don't need to have a plan B for all the potential scenarios out there, but the likely ones. How would you handle that? What are some of your options? What could you do? Could you do without one of your vehicles? Could you move to a less expensive home? Could you rent out a room to a student? Step 3, debt. There's a great saying, if you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Ideally, as precious metal holders, we shouldn't be carrying any consumer debt and investing. However, the economic statistics suggest that that just isn't the case. So as such, right now is the time to stop digging if you find yourself in a financial hole, before that hole becomes your personal burial plot. Take a hard look at your finances and start to do the things that you can to get yourself out of debt as quickly as possible. In particular, the consumer debts like credit cards. Start doubling up payments, consolidating cards to a lower interest rate to try to pay that off faster. There are a ton of resources on the web to help you with situations like this. If you have a car payment, add a little extra to it every month so that you can try to pay it off faster. Fourth step, I want you to cut 10% from your budget today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. I promise you, most of us won't even notice it, and it won't even really hurt. And if it does hurt, now, as my uncle used to say, it won't hurt for long. In step one, when you did your financial inventory, what did you see? I want you to start there. And once you get that 10%, I want you to use that 10% to help pay off the debt faster or keep it as cash so that you can sleep a little better at night. Fifth step, cash is king. I already did a video on this. You know I'm not above a shameless plug, folks. But go back and watch that video and remind yourself why so many people are really sitting on cash. This will be a helpful reminder for you, especially because during the storm it's going to be rough. But afterwards, there are going to be incredible opportunities, and your ability to have cash to weather any potential personal issues you have or to take advantage of the situations that will reveal themselves afterwards. I don't care how much inflation is devaluing your dollar. In an emergency situation or in any situation, people always take cash. So don't give me that whole like, oh, metals are my cash. No, you need to have cash in the bank, cash in your physical possession, and you can have cash like this in the form of metals. What I found to be one of the easiest ways just to get a little extra cash and start to store it up is every time you go to the store, take out an extra $100, extra $50, $20, whatever it is. You'll be surprised how much you can save up. And no, you're not going to miss that in your bank account either. Number 6, I want you to review your current investments. Take a look at and reassess if you have your money in the right or wrong places. And don't be afraid to cut some losses here in exchange for freeing up some cash or funds that you can use to invest in a better performing asset or just keep as cash. Number 7, I want you to cut 10% more from your budget. Tighten that financial belt even more. Psychologically, it is a lot easier to handle and navigate things when we feel empowered to make that choice as opposed to being forced by a circumstance or a situation. So pull on that belt a little bit tighter and squeeze out another 10% from your budget. That extra 10% is what we're going to use to either bolster your savings, help you get out of debt, or purchase more metals. I don't need to wax poetic to you about the values and virtues of metals. If you've been here, you know how important they are and how much I really believe in them. However, they aren't as helpful right now, but they will begin to shine and glow once this financial hurricane arrives and starts to leave. And if you make your way to the eye of this financial hurricane by getting these 7 steps taken care of, inside that eye, you're going to see the shine, the luster, the true value of metals, and you will be rewarded for your patience. What we are staring down as a country and as individuals is not going to be pretty, and lots of people are going to get hurt. And I truly wish we could save more people, but our ability to help others starts with us being able to take care of ourselves. So no matter what, this hurricane is going to do damage, and it's going to leave a mess behind that will need to be cleaned up. At the same time, depending on where you are, this hurricane is going to feel very different. And I want you to prepare now so that you can join me in the eye of the hurricane. I frankly can't believe I made it this far in this video and I haven't referenced the Hamilton play, but here we go. As Hamilton's saying, in the eye of the hurricane, there is quiet. For just a moment, yellow skies. Hamilton then shares his personal hurricane story, and towards the end, he delivers one of my favorite lines. This is the eye of the hurricane. This is the only way I can protect my legacy. I am not a doomsdayer. I'm not a doom and gloom kind of person, as you all know. But as Hamilton said, this is the eye of the hurricane. This is the only way I can protect my legacy. Many of us invest in metals to protect our wealth, to protect our next generation, for our loved ones. And so we need to protect ourselves, protect your family, protect all that you have worked for, protect your legacy by preparing today for this financial hurricane. In the comments section, I want you to share which are the steps you plan to focus on and how you're going to go about doing it. I also want you to get in the comment section and share any suggestions you have for fellow members of the Stackers University community. So thank you for being my A+ students and seeing this video all the way through. Don't forget to comment and like so you can help us get this video out to more people. and help people prepare for this financial hurricane that's coming. The more people we make aware, the less powerful this hurricane is going to be, and the more of us will be in the eye of that hurricane. In the comment section, I want you to share which of the 7 steps you plan to focus on and how you're going to focus on that. I also want you to get in the comments and share any suggestions or recommendations you have towards any of the steps so that you can help our fellow members of Stackers University. This is our community, and we want to be here supporting one another and helping each other. Thank you all for being my A+ students and seeing this video all the way through. Don't forget to comment and like so that we can help others prepare for this financial hurricane so that they can join us in the eye and not on the outskirts. Always stack smarter, never stop learning.